Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Flying Gaming, and I am a dummy. So I figured, let's make a guide for dummies for Path of Exile. Welcome to Path of Exile for Dummies by me, a dummy. So this guide's going to help you go from the beach to, well, the silly builds.
Didn't even break a sweat.
That's right. I see a lot of comments going around of, hey, how do I make money? How do I get the void stones? How do I get through the campaign? I'm going to help you with that. I'm going to help you get through Acts 1 through 10, and I'm also going to show you how to make some easy chaos during Acts 1 through 10. It'll come in the later half, of course. The first 1 through 5, you won't make money. So let's get going, shall we? That'll work. Hello? There we go. So the guide. This guide is going to be for new players, returning players. It's going to help you out with the basics. It's going to teach you how to import a build. It's going to set up a loot filter, Act 1 through 10 playthrough, and how to do the end game. So basically, you get the basics of the game, attributes, leveling, stuff like that. We'll go way more over how to import builds. Path of Building is going to help you out as a new player. It's not required, just highly recommended. Same thing with a loot filter, not required, but you'll see why you'll need a loot filter in a little bit. So let's go over, and then Acts 1 through 10. Acts 1 through 10 playthrough and endgame mapping system will be a different video. Acts 1 through 10 will probably be 10-part video. I don't know. I see some people say, well, I don't know. Do you want Acts 1 through 10 in a full 10-hour playthrough, 12-hour playthrough, how long it ever takes? Or do you want them broken down by videos of like Act 1, Act 2 video, Act 3 video, Act 4 video? Let me know in the comments below. I'm thinking of just doing it in 10 parts. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, Act 5, Act 6. At the beginning of each video, I'll go over what quests are important, like which ones give you passive skill rewards, which one gives you refund rewards, and which one gives you ascendancy, where you get your ascendancy trial stuff. So we'll do that. That'll be Acts 1 through 10. So set up the basics. What is Path of Exile? Classes and ascendancies, skill gems, gear, and currency. This section of the guide is basically, you have no freaking idea what's going on. You're like, what is Path of Exile? What's a class? What's an ascendancy? What's a skill gem? What's gear? I don't even know what gear is. The last time I played on the beach, I got one weapon and then Hillock killed me and I logged out. Or I opened up the skill tree and logged out. That's okay. We're going to help you with that. You're going to have, and then currency. What currencies do I keep? What currencies do I use? All that kind of stuff. With the currency though, we're going to start with just the basic currency. We're not going into exotic currencies, and we're not even going to go into some of the end game currencies like Veil Orbed, even like Mirror of Calandra I won't really get into, and Hinakora's Law, because those are very expensive, and as a new player, you'll find them. Maybe not. You might run across the Mirror of Calandra, just sell it immediately. If you do, you win. Anyways, let's go. So what is Path of Exile? Well, with a straight face, it's known as... I'm sorry, just a long time ago, of course, some Diablo or some Blizzard dev was like, hey guys, we should call ARPGs Diablo. So now I just in my head laugh every time, and it's just funny. It's a game with a lot of system. It's got talent trees within talent trees within talent trees within talent trees, or skill trees, whatever. But once you learn the game and understand it, it's fun. And you could really turn your brain off and just do some gaming. Put on your favorite TV show or music and not have to worry about getting one-shotted by the Florida meth head in Path of Exile 2. Jonathan. And most leagues last about 3 to 4 months, and the game always refreshes with a new league in about 3 or 4 months. However, I think Jonathan from Grinding Gear Games recently just came out and said that they want to try 4 months for Path of Exile and Path of Exile 2. Big words. All right, so a league. Well, a league is pretty much what most people play. Most leagues, again, last about 3 to 4 months. They add new content. Sometimes it's small, sometimes it's large. Depends. You can play it as trade, solo self-found. There's also hardcore if you want to be that guy who's like, well, that rare mob over there rolled every high affix. He's going to just one-shot me. That's how you want to play hardcore. Go right ahead. Hardcore is too scary for me, especially how Passive Exiles rares have a lot of systems stacked into them to keep up with us, because if something doesn't one-shot us, it basically doesn't kill us. That's how Path of Exile is nowadays. You one shot or they one shot. You're a glass cannon. Sometimes the enemies can be a little more tanky and still one shot you. Soul Self-Found is very simple. You're by yourself. You're on your own. You can't trade with anybody. You can eventually leave Soul Self-Found and go to Trade League if you would like. You just can't do it the other way around. You can't go from trade to Soul Self-Found. You can only go Soul Self-Found to trade. Hardcore. There's like a ruthless mode, but what's that? Nobody cares. And then there's standard. Standard is league ends. This is where your builds will go. Pretty much the core version of the game. No new league mechanic unless it's brought back in a different way. For example, Sanctum. Sanctum was a huge, everybody loved the Sanctum League. It went away for a little bit, then Grinding Gear Games brought it back, and now it's just part of the core game. T17s is another example for maps, or some of the current Pinnacle bosses like Eldritch Horrors, Maven, all of them are considered core. That's standard. You can play standard now if you want, but honestly, 3.26 is June 13th, so get ready for that. And if you are going to start playing, just be known that in 2 weeks' time, everything's going to reset. But this is a good time to play the acts because you get the idea and understand of how the acts work and how the acts are just a giant tutorial for you, but they're not a very good tutorial. Anyways, moving on. Classes and ascendancies. There are 7 classes, 19 ascendancies. Most classes are able to be picked right away. You can pick Duelist, Witch, Marauder, Templar, Assassin, and Ranger right off rip, except for the Scion, who is unlocked in Act 3 if you have a new account. If you've already played the game, maybe you've unlocked her. I will point this out. When we get to Act 3, it's in a giant tall tower. It's pretty much the last area of Act 3 before you fight a big bad boss. Picking a class is mainly where you're going to start on the skill tree. So I'm going to bring up Path of Building here. So as you can see here, wrong Path of Building. I have 2 of them. Here we go. Here we go. So on this Path of Building, as you can see here, you basically, it shows basically where your starting area is, right? And this is the same thing as basically in game, minus in game you can't zoom out this far, right? In game you'll be like probably right around here somewhere, or maybe even like this. They really do keep you zoomed in at start. So picking your class, it also starts with certain attributes. So your starting class, let's say you pick a Duelist here. Well, you start with 23 strength, 23 dex, 14 intelligence. This is important. Remember these later. And as you start, as you level up, oh, you gained a level, boom, you get a skill point. Boom, you get a skill point. Most build guides will use Path of Building. And depending on where you start, like for example, the Duelist here, he's a hybrid between strength and dex. So it's easier to do strength and dex builds with a Duelist. Say you pick a Marauder. He's big man, big angry. He's like kind of in the strength section of the tree. So you start with 32 strength, 14 dex, 14 intelligence. And this is like the guy who's like, he's the big man. You're going to play some big builds with him, somewhat tanky, maybe not. One of the best builds, honestly, with this guy is a thing called a Righteous Fire Chieftain, made by a YouTuber named Pox. He has a whole website for it. I'll show all that later. Don't worry. That's kind of the build I'm probably going to recommend to most new players because it's a build you can trust that will be in 3.26 unless Grinding Gear Games absolutely destroys Righteous Fire. But why would they do that? What else are the gamer dads going to play? So then what's above the Marauder? Well, it's the Templar. He's the strength intelligence hybrid kind of guy. People play brand builds with him, sometimes Righteous Fire, but he's mainly, I'm pretty sure he's mainly the brand guy. Not quite sure. Every time I've played a Templar, it's been with brands. So I don't know. Really, that's about it. Witch, she's the intelligence. She's the smartest one of the group and the crankiest one of the group. A lot of people play minion builds with the Witch. There's some really interesting minion builds. For instance, there's Blink Arrow, Mirror Arrow. It is a minion build. It's considered a minion build, so it's a minion build. There's also great minion build content creators like Gazzy TV. He doesn't cover Bama or Blink Arrow, Mirror Arrow. He does like a Zoomancer build or stuff like that. We'll go over more builds in just a little bit, but kind of give you a general idea. What's another build the Witch does? Last few times I've played a Witch have just been Okay, for some people who don't know, new players, you're not gonna understand what I'm about to say here, but there is a Sanctum, right? I mentioned Sanctum earlier, which some people play a Cultist Hexblast Witch for Sanctum, and it absolutely blasts. So if you're gonna play Sanctum, maybe look up Hexblast Occultist Witch or Penance Brand of Dissipation Templar. You might find something. Actually, it would be the Ascendancy, so Occultist for Witch. We'll get to the Ascendancies. I'm going into too much detail here. Okay, Ranger. No, sorry. Shadow. The Shadow is the hybrid of Dex and Intelligence. He's good for currently Lotus, Power Siphon, Lotus Mines, and Lightning Strike, but that all could change. That's probably going to get nerfed. So just remember that this guy's good for Intelligence Dex. If you want to play Intelligence Dex build, he might be pretty good for you. It all depends. And then Ranger, she's straight up Dex class. Most Dex builds will play her, and that's it. And then you have, of course, the Scion, who starts in the middle. This class is basically a pick your own kind of class. You can do whatever you want with this, really. Has kind of the roughest start out of all the classes, but you know, there's not a lot of lead guides for Scion or league start guides for Scion. There's not many, not that I found. It's usually Ranger, or you know, the original 6 usually have the best league starts versus her, and some more than others. All right, and that's kind of the basics of your classes. So let's go over their ascendancies. You have the Duelist. He could be a Slayer, he could be a Gladiator, he could be a Champion. So when you're looking up build guides after this video, or before, or you just found this video, just remember, when you're looking up a build guide, you're looking for either a Slayer, a Gladiator, or a Champion. All right, you know what? Good example here. This is a build done by Jungro here. This is the build I was thinking of playing. It's a Poisonous Concoction Slayer. So basically, this is the skill gem right here. No, that's not the skill. Well, that is one of the skills. This is a skill gem, Poisonous Concoction. This is like the main skill gem of the build. This is a very early guide, very early leveling guide to level with. It helps you get through Normal Lab, Cruel Lab, and Merc Lab. Pretty good guide. I'm looking forward to playing this. This might be what I play in 3.26. This is what I'm going to play for the Acts 1 through 10 leveling. Might play in 3.26. If there's nothing else that interests me, I will play this again, just to keep some consistencies and help out with the endgame. So when you're looking for a new guide, you're looking for Slayer. Another thing I forgot to mention, if you are using Path of Building and you're like, hey, where's my ascendancies? Well, the Slayer ascendancies are right here. The Ranger ascendancies are right here. You just got to zoom out. Shadow ascendancies are here. They're usually right next to, right above, right next to. This is the Scion's ascendancies. She's way over here. And these are the Slayers. So if you're looking for where the ascendancies are, just remember they're here. So when you get a build guide and it starts off like, well, where's the ascendancies? They're right here. And usually when most people do their ascendancies, they'll usually go one by one. I'll show you a really good build guide that's crafted very well for new players when we get to that point. I'm just kind of giving you guys an idea of what a build guide might look like. I'm going to show you one that's crafted very well. Okay, let's get back to it. So what's next? Well, next is the Marauder. He could be a Juggernaut, Berserker, Chieftain. I think one of the easiest ascendancies in the games is a Chieftain. A Ranger could be a Deadeye, Warden, or Pathfinder. A Shadow can be an Assassin, a Saboteur, or a Trickster. Right now, Trickster's pretty meta. Templar, it can be an Inquisitor, Hierophant, and a Guardian. A Witch can be a Necromancer, an Elementalist, and an Occultist. Pick your choosing. So when you're looking for a guide, just remember you are looking at the ascendancies, not really the class. Maybe some, but not really. There are some generic leveling guides out there, but as a new player, I'd recommend a guide that simply gets you into your main skill from during leveling or a transition to before maps. I'll help you out with that too. And the last but not least, is a Scion. She's got one. She's the Ascendant. She's the one you unlock in Act 3. So if you're like, well, I found a Scion build, what do I do? I don't have the Scion unlocked if you're a new player. Well, you'll have to figure that one out. Skill gem. Well, what are skill gems? There's a shit ton of them. There's a whole lot of them. They come in 4 colors, and you need a certain amount of attributes to use them. They come in red, green, blue, and white. Basically, strength, dex, and intelligence, and white gems. They're very unique cases. 2 of them. There's 2 of them. And there's one that's a little weird. I'll show you guys in game here in just a second. You'll have one main skill gem that is your damage skill gem. You'll have a few supporting skill gems like movement or war cries. Depending on your build, you might have something like playing poisonous concoction. You have something called plague bearer, where it takes up your poisons and once it reaches maximum potential, you can pop it and have like this cool extra AoE poison damage around you, so you can just move without throwing poison concoctions all the time. To equip these, they go into your weapons, helmet, body armor, gloves, boots, shields, and an offset ring. This is kind of a base for like a ring eventually later. Not a lot of people use these unless they use it for like a unique build or something like that. The gear must have the right color to match. So if you have a red gem, it must be a red socket. Unless you have a white socket, then it doesn't matter. You can put anything there. Same thing with white colored gems. They can go anywhere. It doesn't matter. So I'll show you just a second. All right. Except for white, because go to, yeah, I read that. There are also transfigure gems. I'll show you one of those. They basically change how the gem works. For example, poisonous concoction and poisonous concoction of bouncing. Poisonous concoction just throws gems, or throws concocts of poisons, and poisonous concoction of bouncing, well, it goes all over the place. Kind of cool. Strength, they obviously use strength dex. Some gems will use 2 attributes, hybrid gems. So some will use strength dex, dex int, and strength dex. Max level is 20, unless you use a fall orb that can potentially, maybe, change it to 21. All right, and then you have your support gems. There's a whole bunch of those too. These come in 3 colors, red, green, blue. These link to your main skill gem. They do more damage and or other skill gems. Sometimes you have stuff like that. Not every support gem works with skill gems. So if you have a melee gem and a ranged support gem, those ain't gonna work. And the game will tell you some support gems do have awakened versions. These go to like level 5. Again, support gems are the same as basically main skills. They go to level 20. Some go to level 5 if they are awakened, but awakened is more of an end game thing. So you don't have to worry about those while you're leveling. I'm going to put that there, let you guys know. These also require a certain amount of attributes, again, strength, dex, and intelligence. And some gems will use 2 attributes. So let's go into Path of Exile here. Where are you at? So this is Path of Exile. Look, ooh, pretty. Yay, video game. 2 weeks. 2 weeks while recording this video. So this is a poisonous concoction Pathfinder. This is kind of what everybody used to play back in the day. When you play poisonous concoction, one thing is important is you actually don't use a main hand weapon. So if you do play poisonous concoction, remember, you don't need a main hand weapon. Most builds require a main hand weapon. You don't. You go, wait, what's that? I don't need that. This build has kind of been kind of stripped apart for other pieces. I have a belt here that's very expensive. I just didn't equip it and put it on here because this is just a tutorial build. So you have here gems. So like some skill gems are aura. So you have like aura gems like Malevolence, and then you have poisonous concoction of bouncing. This is a transfigure gem. Like I showed before, when you throw it, it goes all over the place crazily. I think it targets opponents. And then here's Lily. She's kind of important later on. Don't mind her right now. Where are you? There you are. This is the normal version of poisonous concoction without the transfigure gem. So you just throw poisons. And as you can tell, I have like stuff here. So this one uses like awakened gems because this is like an end game build here. So the build you saw was in the beginning of this video was a flicker strike build. I thought that would be more sillier to show off, and it was. I'll put that back for safety reasons. And then you have your support gems. Again, here's an awakened gem, and then and here's like a normal gem. So again, awakened gems are level 5. And also, I forgot to put this in the thing, but you can quality these gems, and quality a gem usually does something like gives more damage, or does this one inflicts wither, or 20% more chance to fix wither, which increases damage. So be sure to read your stuff. And so like, so if you hold, the thing is, if you want to see what a quality does to a gem, if you hold alt, it'll tell you. Also, these gems are corrupted, which means you cannot do anything to them. They cannot be crafted on. So for example, if I go here, here's my horrible inventory. If I take this gem cutter's prism here, which is a quality gem, as you can tell, I cannot, oh, sorry, max quality. Here, give me this. I'm going to go like this. I'm just going to do this. So watch. So I can quality this gem. It goes 1%. And if I corrupt it, I would have got a, by the way, if this poisonous concoction was level 20, I would have got a 21. So now, this is funny. So If I try and quality, I can't because the target's corrupt. So when you corrupt something, be careful. You cannot craft on it. So that's another thing you need to be careful of. Or when you're trading for things, look out for corrupted unless you're looking for a specific corruption. For example, a 21 gems. That's the max is 20. There's like a higher max if you corrupt to 21. Even you could get like quality 23. But some gems do better with quality. Some gems do better with level. Poisonous Concoction of Bouncing does better with levels. Same thing here. The max level is 5. If you corrupt it, it's 6. And this isn't corrupted because it didn't need to be. So this is just level 20. So max level 20 can corrupt to 21. Max level 5 can corrupt to 6. But I don't think I have a level 6 because level 6 awakened gems are very expensive. So put these all back together here. Those are your basic skill gems. And then have things like, oh yeah, white skill gems. Portal. So portal, and then do I have... Here's another one for you. Oh, okay. Here's a good example. So, in the 7 tab you have is white gems. It's detonate mines and convocation. The thing about convocation is this is mainly used for minions. If you play a minion build, you basically just automate this. These have a max level of 1. These don't level up. They do have quality though. So, for example, portal. If you quality it, you get 60% more cast speed. Detonate mines increased again. You just hold Alt and you can see the quality. What the quality does to skill gems and support gems. Same thing with this one. So yeah, so you can quality these. See, you hold it and it tells you. Yeah, okay, we got that right. I already showed that. So these gems are true white gems. You can put these in any socket you want, right? Green, red, blue, whatever, doesn't matter. But for some reason, convocation is considered a white gem. It can only go in blue. So. Yeah, I don't know why they should have put that in the blue gem section. So you have a portal gem and go any socket. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention is that if you highlight your gems, right? So you highlight Poisonous Concoction, you can see how everything lights up. Everything's kind of highlighted. That means it supports it. So let's say I put in portal here, right? Nothing lights up. Portal is not supported by the support gems here. So basically you just take this, boom, and now it lights up. So that's basically how you'll know if something's working with something. So if you're like, oh, like this one's kind of hard to see. There you go. So like I have Plague Bearer and increased AoE. As you see, both are light up. That means Plague Bearer works with increased area of effect. These are separate things. This is Flame Dash. This is your movement. Like you kind of just blink around, right? This is kind of your movement spell. How you move around. And Herald of Agony is a aura, just like Malevolence up here, and Grace. Those are kind of your auras. Those are what you use for more damage or more defense. And yeah, and Herald of Agony is additional chance of poison. So be sure to read those when you're looking at guides. Pick out one that looks fun to you. I like Poisonous Concoction, especially when you do this. It just goes everywhere. This also uses a flask, by the way. So Poisonous Concoction of Bouncing would use something like a flask. So the best idea is to keep your flask up to date as best as possible. So that way you don't because that's the majority of what your damage is going to be is flasks. That's kind of your weapon now. Okay. So that's that. Let's go ahead and stuff those in here. So those are your support gems, your skill gems. Some of the gems are missing because I borrowed them. I took shield charge from somewhere. I took, I have cast damage taken, probably increased duration. So don't worry about that. This build has been kind of slowly ripped apart. Okay. So that's your gems. The two most important things in this game for looking at builds is probably your skill gem and your ascendancy. So when you're looking at skill gems and ascendancy, so it'll usually be Righteous Fire Chieftain or Slayer Poisonous Concoction of Bouncing or something along those lines. So you're looking for the ascendancy and the skill gem. Watch the video, decide whether it's bait or not. If it's bait, be careful. You won't know if you're a new player. The only way you know is to test it out. And if it's bait, sorry. I'll take the blame on that one. Okay, so let's continue here. Gear. I forgot to put something here, but that's okay. Gear requires two things. It requires attributes and a certain level to equip, depending on the eye level of the gear or the base of the gear. Gear comes in strength, dex, and intelligence. You could see that as, and I'll go over it a little bit later too, but you could see it as strength is armor, dex is evasion, and intelligence is energy shield. A way to add damage or defensive stats, or defensive stats. Weapons are mainly used for damage, except for shields, but they're technically considered armor. You have body armor, gloves, boots, helmets, 2 rings, necklace, belt, and a shield. These will normally help with resistance cap on 75% lightning, fire, cold, and chaos. You also get life and attributes from your gear. Generally speaking, body armor, so TLDR, body armor and gloves, boots, and helmets, those are all for your resistances. Resistance cap 75% is very important by maps. That way you don't get one-shotted. Lightning, fire, and cold is usually very important. Chaos, you can kind of get away with it if you're playing Trade League. Sometimes I do go into maps with minus 60% chaos, but by the time I get the red maps, I'm usually going, I need chaos res. And if you get to 0% chaos res by red maps, you'll be okay. You won't get obliterated by a stack of poison. Or by one of the guardians that will obliterate you because he does poison. And not a guardian conqueror. Nope, there's a poison guardian too. So I'm going off tangent here. This is supposed to keep me on tangent. Gear comes in white, magic, rare, and unique. White is just a base item. There's no affixes on it. You can craft on it. You can do whatever you want with it. Magic is 1 prefix, 1 suffix. Rare is 3 prefixes, 3 suffixes, give or take. And uniques, they have fixed stacks. They can be game changing. Okay. So let's look at some gear in game here before we continue here. And I'm going to go over some more base items. So as you can see here, most of these are just based weapons and stuff like that. So you have like a 2-handed axe, bow. These are all just white items. I scoured them and everything. So yeah, and here's like a magic flask. Flasks are usually magic. These are your jewels. You'll use these kind of more. These are more towards end game stuff. You'll see these base jewels here kind of later in the game, maybe even your abyssal eyes later in the game. These are definitely a late game thing. Some builds will use these. So when you get to end game, you'll be looking for these lesser jewels, but I'll talk more about those in a minute. And then, so these are like your weapon bases here. I do go over weapon bases in just a minute. So this is kind of a general idea. The 3 sockets, you can have up to 4 on most, 6 on 2-handed weapons and chest. And armor bases, there's just stuff this thing full of random armor. You can see like this one, it's like, again, rare it can have up to 3 prefixes, up to 3 suffixes. Same thing. Most rare pieces are 3 to 6 affixes, and then magic. I don't think I have any. I have a magic piece here. It's missing 1, but you can, we use that as an example. Okay, so that's basically it. So gear can come in things of, again, let's see here, armor evasion. Yeah, I'll go over that in just a second. Okay, so gear. So there's a good idea of what gear kind of looks like in this game. You know what I forgot to show? Most important thing, attributes and requirements. So if you have a piece of gear like armor evasion here, it requires level 51, 57 strength, 57 dex. I've obviously met that requirement, so I can wear it. So is there like here we go. Pure evasion base right here requires 67, 100. That's actually a really good piece of gear. I rolled Faustus just before I started. I did not realize Faustus threw up on me a like pretty decent piece of gear. Holy crap. So this is a good example of like, this was a really good piece of gear, at least for me, right? It's got 154 life, 46 fire res, 37 chaos res, and 35 cold res. Wait, sorry, I flipped that. 37 cold res, 35 chaos res. That's a really good piece of gear. That's 3 resistances and a crap ton of life. Is that there's also tiers. The lower the tier number, the higher the number goes. So tier 1 is the best, and I don't know how high the numbers go, but tier 1 is best in this game. In Path of Exile 2, it's different. So just remember, Path of Exile 1, tier 1, number 1. So yeah, this rolled pretty high. So that's pretty good, I would assume. Maybe someone in the comments will go, actually, that's really good. I just saw this. I'm in shock. Anyways, back to the PowerPoint. So that's basically what your gear is going to look like. That chest is an outlier. Ignore that. All right, prefixes and suffixes. Prefixes are life, mana, and certain gear pieces have base stat increases to certain gear pieces base stats. So armor, evasion, energy shield. Again, see armor as strength, evasion as dex, and energy shield is intelligence, dexterity. I should be dexterity. Yeah. So again, so an example is like that chest, right? That chest has 1,465 evasion because of the 2 evasion rating and increased evasion and life. And then it has the resistances, which are suffixes. So you have 3 prefixes, 3 suffixes. They're all pretty good. This is a piece you'd probably use for a while. I hope Faustus stays in 3.26. I really do. All right. So, and that's it. And then weapons, right? I have a weapon here. I have this axe that I used for a long time in the beginning of the league here. I bought this off a trade. Pretty good axe in my opinion. It did very well for what it needed to do. It has a unique implicit, which it's 25% chance to maim on hit. This is part of the base vault axe thing here. So some content creators will have certain bases. You do want to use those bases when you are deciding on a build to play from a content creator. Remember to use those bases, right? Because this is vault axe. So again, the weapons are more used for damage. So increased physical damage for, I don't think I have a wand in here. Do I? No, I don't, unfortunately. So 2-handed axe. It has a unique implicit on it, 25% chance to main on hit. It has an enchant on it from that Settlers League thing. Don't worry about that. That's probably not going to be there when you see it. And then crafting recipe, which I didn't really talk about the crafting bench. I will in the future, so don't worry about that. I'll go over everything as it's unlocked. It's kind of the goal. Anyways, let's continue. I'm going off track. Stick to the PowerPoint, Taylor. Anyways, so that's basically what a good 2-handed weapon look like, and what a good chest would look like. These are really good. These are outliers. Do I have anything decent? This might be decent. Yeah, like this would be pretty decent. Yeah, sure. We'll go with this. This looks decent, right? This would be something decent, except for life regen and stuff like that. It's 4 sockets. This is something you would see at league start. This would be something you see later on in league. Like this is something, yeah, this is something you would like. You wouldn't find this unless you like traded for it. So yeah. Okay. Let's see if there's anything like worth decency. This one has 2 things. I don't think there's anything like, yeah, that chest is an outlier. Everything, it puts everything to shame. This chest piece right here puts everything. Yeah. So, and these boots, I found these boots on trade. All right. Anyways, moving on. So, those are your gear. Your weapons have use different prefix suffixes. 2-handed weapons, physical damage increases. Because basically, when you're using a 2-handed weapon, you're playing like a slam build or something. I think some builds do use a staff. I haven't really seen it. And then if you're using a wand, you'll want to like increase spell damage, cast speed, that kind of stuff. But again, if you do follow a build, content creators build makers will put kind of a general use of what you want. And some of them will go resistances, just hit 75%. So if you have like a helmet with like cold and fire, look at like, let's say the next piece you need is gloves. Make sure those gloves maybe have lightning on them. So that way you have lightning, cold, and fire. And then, or maybe like, you could go, okay, well, my helmet has cold and fire. So let's make your gloves have something with lightning plus another one. Your boots could then have whatever you're missing. Your rings, same thing. Basically what you want to do. Rings will make getting resistances a lot easier because rings have really good base. I'm going ahead of myself though. Gear base types: weapons, body armor, gloves, boots, shields, quivers, work with only bows, helmets, 2 rings, necklace, and belt. Weapon base types: 1-handed weapons, axes, sword, maces, wands, claws, daggers, and rune daggers. 2-handed weapons: axes, swords, maces, staffs, and bows. 1-handed weapons are 3 socks and 3 lynxes. You can dual wield with another 1-handed weapon or a shield. For example, you can dual wield 2 wands, 2 axes, 2 swords, swords and an axe, swords and a mace, axes and maces, daggers, rune daggers. So you can do all that. Yeah. 2-handed weapons. There are 6 sockets. You can have 6 sockets, 6 links, and bows are considered 2-handed weapons. Bows use quiver as offhand, and only bows can use a quiver. Quiver is basically, it's got the arrows in it. It's just another stat for you to have, right? You can get attack speed, projectile speed, all kinds of stuff on quivers. But again, when you're looking at builds, if you see a bow build, be sure to get a quiver. All right, body armors. Armor, evasion, or energy shield. Some body armors can be hybrid. Again, that's armor, evasion, energy shield, armor, energy shield. Depends. These are going to be your primary 6th link. Your body armors are usually the 6th link because they are the only thing outside of two-handed weapons that can be 6 links. And give or take some stats that can give you like adds support gem, like faster casting. But you're not going to find any of those unless you get a unique or something. Or craft one. If you learn crafting. But again, you're a new player. You don't know that. So 6 links, 6 sockets. Depending on the base type, it can easier roll the socket color. Say you have a piece of evasion gear and you need 5 green and 1 red. That's not bad. That's pretty easy to do. Okay, this is where it's going to get really weird. Let's say you have an evasion piece of gear and you're playing a build that requires 4 reds and 2 greens. That's going to be a bit rough. However, maybe you get an evasion armor piece and then you can roll 4 reds, 2 greens. But then it's like, well, I need 1 blue. Okay, so you need 4 reds, 1 green, 1 blue. That's still possible. It would get really weird. Basically what I'm saying is as long as you have like, so like it's easier to roll the color of that a thing. So you have armor. It's easier to roll a red socket because armor is part of strength. Evasion is part of dexterity, and intelligence is part of energy shield. So just color match. So you're like, well, I use mainly red gems. Well, then just find something with strength. You will be fine. You will be able to roll. And then gloves, boots, helmet, and base types. These are armor. These are also, again, your main pieces of gear, like your body armor, your helmet, your gloves, your boots. These pieces, helmet, chest, boots, and boots. These are kind of your main pieces. These are what gives you defensive stats, resistances, life, and armor and stuff like that. So just remember that. So yeah, did I mention that? Yeah, unique, by the way. This is unique. This is game changing. It causes enemies that are cursed to explode. Pretty cool. Okay. So yeah, so that's basically that. So again, gloves, boots, and helmet are all I always feel like I'm missing something with that, but it's gloves, boots, and helmet. I'm like thinking like pants, right? Some games have like pants in them. This game doesn't have pants. Usually the boots are part of the pants. So does that mean if an Exile is wearing slippers, are they running around pantsless? You know? That is what it is. You're not wearing any pants. Damn right I'm not. So anyways, so armor, evasion, or energy shield. Kind of a tangent there. This PowerPoint isn't helping me. Some body armors can be hybrid. So again, you can have armor evasion, energy shield armor, as before. Again, also depending on the base types, you can easier roll socket colors. Armor will roll red more, evasion will roll green more, energy shield will roll blue more. It's as simple as that. So when you're rolling for certain colors, just remember I have an armor base and I need 3 greens and 3 red, or 3 greens and 3 blues. You shouldn't be using an armor base unless you're playing a build that I think is baiting the crap out of you. So, or that'd be 6 links. So like maybe 4 sockets would be easier to get, or maybe just, you know, like you need like 2 red and 2 blue. Yeah, you could do that with an armor base for sure. Get an armor energy shield base, and then you could easily roll 2 red, 2 blue. I'll talk more about how to roll gear socket colors in just a second. Rings, belt, and necklace. These have no attribute requirements to equip. They have a level requirement. Everything else has a level requirement. Rings are a really good base type for your resistances, like lightning, fire, cold, hybrid, and chaos. Basically, there is a ring. Its base type gives you lightning res, and there's a fire res ring, there's a cold res ring, or there are hybrid res rings. You'll see these throughout the campaign. A lot of people use hybrid res rings, and then chaos is its own base type. And you'll see these base types as you're leveling. Chaos is amethyst, lightning is topaz, fire is ruby, and cold is like sapphire. Those are your base types. Those are the ones you mainly want to look out for. Necklaces have really good base types for getting those attributes. Attributes can be somewhat annoying depending on your build. Some builds will have an easier time getting strength. Some build, again, this depends on where you start in the tree. If you start in a marauder, strength ain't going to be a problem. Dex and intelligence, maybe a little bit, especially intelligence. But if you're playing a marauder build, you probably won't be using a lot of intelligence gems. You might use a few dex gems that might have some high requirements, or you might not. Honestly, it depends, right? It's all build dependent. So, but again, and you'll solve most of these attribute issues with probably a neck. A neck, you can have strength, dex, intelligence, hybrid, or in all attributes. There's a strength neck, there's a dex neck, there's an intelligence neck. You'll see these pretty early on. And then there's hybrid necks like strength and dex, strength and intelligence, dex and intelligence, or an all attributes neck. And belts, they're good for filling anything out missing, really. Like you missing some resistances, that belt will help you out. Even belt can help with strength. There is a strength belt in the game. There's also another belt. It's called a Stygian Vice. It lets you use abyssal gems. You can also use abyssal gems in sockets. So I'll go more over the skill tree during the leveling process to help you guys out. So jewels, these are another way to fill out missing stats. These mainly go into your passive tree. So here, let me show you. Let's open up the passive tree here. Jump scare in 3, 2, 1. Okay. You got it? You good? All right, cool. So these are right here is like a little passive socket here. This is a unique skill gem. This one can kind of roll random stats. So whenever you kill a certain boss, he drops this thing called Light of Meaning, and you unveil, unreveal it. You reveal it, and it could be anything from passive skills in a radius, grant, insert thing here. This one does chaos damage, but this is mainly your jewel socket. This is a unique one. I think I have also this build also uses some cluster jewels here, medium cluster jewels. Here we go. So this is a jewel, right? These, what you find, you can buy these on trade, or you can self-found them yourself. There's tons of ways to do it. I recommend you just play the game how you want to play the game, right? And these mainly go in your tree. They can go here. He can go, you know, you can go over here with it, or over here. Get in there. You didn't want to go in. So although be warned though that some of these gems do require to be in certain spots. So like to get the full benefit of Light of Meaning, the gem has to go in an area that's fully like got a lot of skill points in it. So like this one, it works very well here because passives in my radius also grants 6% chaos gems. For example, this one, this is a timeless jewel. These are very unique. Some builds use these, some builds don't. Most league starter builds won't use these until like in the late game. Don't worry about these too much, but they are kind of annoying. I don't really like them, but if a build uses it, I kind of try to find the best one I can, because sometimes these can change entire passives, and it's like, oh god, I found a bad one, and then that one's a brick, so then I have to go find another one. Or if I try and find one that's required, it's like 50 divines, and it's just like, oh, or there's none of them. So yeah, and then like this one, yeah, Unnatural Instincts. This one's really interesting. It allocates small passives in a race, grants all bonuses of unallocated passive gems. This is a good way to kind of, usually some people will use it over here on the Scion side of the tree, but this is a pretty cool skill gem too. And then you have like, oh, this is another good one. This one, for every spell suppress I have a chance to avoid elements at 50% of their value. And then another way I get another 50% on my gear. And then I am immune to ailments like Ignite, Freeze, and Shock, which is really good. Interstitial Vision's another gem you'll probably get depending on your build. Some builds don't even need this. They're like, what's that? Ailments? I don't know what that is. You know, kind of thing. And then a Watcher's Eye. A Watcher's Eye is one of the most unique, cool gems in the game. There's a 2-stat and a 3-stat one. Everyone's going to use these. Everyone uses these. These are really good. They can be anywhere from like 1C to like hundreds of divines. It's just how good they can be. So, you know, in Watcher's Eyes, you'll find these. Don't worry. When you get there, I'll show you where you get these. Because if you leave these unidentified, you can sell these for 6 to 7 divines sometimes, maybe even 5, and that's an easy way to do it. Like, it's a good way to get divines. Like if you happen to be killing a certain boss. And I'm not going to spoil any bosses just yet. When we get there, we'll get there. So, little tease. I'm not going to get... My headphones fell off my microphone. Sorry. Let's get the shit out of me. Anyways, that's basically the skill tree. And so, the end game, your ascendancy tree, I meant to show this earlier, but your ascendancy tree is right here next to where you start. So when you open it up, you know, you saw in Path of Building, the ascendance tree was like over here. It doesn't exist over here in game. It exists over here. So I do apologize for that. I'll clear that up for you right now. Anyways, so that's the ascendancy tree. Let's go on to the next thing here. Okay, that was your jewels. I showed some jewels, clusters, abyssal jewels. Did I show abyssal jewels? Here, let me show you an abyssal jewel. I'll show you an abyssal jewel. I saved one for you guys right here. Where is it? I put it, sorry about the inventory. It's not there. I put it, here you go. This will work. Here's an abyssal jewel. They come in rare or unique. Also, jewels can have 4 affixes, 2 prefixes, 2 suffixes. Same thing with abyssal jewels. They can have 4. So look out for your best things possible here. I did show like a synthesized, no, not synthesized item, a fractured item. Those are, I didn't mention this in the guide because it's something I want to save for later, but I just realized this is a fractured item here. This is just that affix cannot be removed. So if you're looking to craft something, like I showed one of my boots too, that's right. This is an item that can't be removed. So if you try to craft something, like you want to craft this item and get better like secondary stats or primary, like better affixes, like maybe you don't need increased attack speed while holding a shield. Increased life is actually pretty good. And increased poison damage. This is pretty good for my build. Like I wouldn't change this gem. But like maybe your build's something different. You want to use chaos over time, but maybe you don't need poison damage. Maybe you don't need extra life. But some people do, some people don't. Depends on how you are. So that's basically a fractured item. All right. So these are your armor bases. I showed these earlier. Energy shield, evasion, energy shield, stuff like that. Okay. And we're talking about jewels. And now I think we're talking about flasks. These can be magic only. They're a good way to give you movement speed, res, armor, evasion. These can be automated in the end game with currency, so you don't have to keep mashing your flask button. So an example of a flask is this one. I put another one, yeah, or like this one. This is one that you would use with a mage blood. Do I have any flasks that you would not use with a mage blood? Here you go. Here's a flask I wouldn't use with a mage blood. So this is a really good flask. Scholar's Diamond Flask of the Antelope. It gives 100% increased global crit strike chance. Flasks also give good damage. Here's one that gives more armor. And you see the little enchant used when charges are full. Basically, when you're doing maps and you kill a target, you get these. You get these through a currency or by using your crafting bench to craft. I'll show you how to do that. Actually, I'll go ahead and show you how to do that right now. You have your crafting bench. Click on this. Boom. You have an enchantment. Your enchantments are, used when adjacent flask is used. Some builds will use some difference, but I like when charges are full, especially if I'm killing lots of mobs. Basically, what happens is this will get full, and then it'll just use it, and then it keeps it going. And there's also a way to quality these, just like gems and gear. Right? Gear can be quality too. Again, if it's corrupted, you can't quality it anymore. So just remember that if you have a corrupted piece of gear, you can't quality it anymore. And these are your flash gems. They can be magic only. They can have 2 affixes because they're magic. And that's it. They do some things. Like this one taunts enemies. It also gives you 20% more armor and stuff like that. Okay, so that's kind of your main set of gear. You have, let me go back and get here. You have your weapon that this build doesn't use. You also have a offhand weapon. I forgot to mention that. This is just don't mind this bow. You can have 2 weapon slots. Mainly you'll use your second weapon slot for leveling gems that you need later on for your build, or that maybe not, but that's usually what they're for. The second weapon, most people will use the second weapon slot for leveling gems that you need later on, or if you want to make some money. So always level meta gems. You could make some money potentially. So these are your remember your main pieces. Weapon, depending on your build, you'd use a weapon. If not, you don't need a weapon. Helmet, shield, neck, chest, rings, gloves, belt that's missing, and boots. I don't have a belt because this build was using a different kind of belt. And then your flasks. And this is another one of those flasks that are designed for a mage blood. It's on permanently, so I'd have a permanent 35% chaos res, plus the increased 70% effect. That's another enchantment that you get with another flask effect, with another currency. And we're gonna go over currencies right now. So currencies, mainly going over currencies that you get from doing acts 1 through 10. You'll get these currencies for crafting on gear or using in the crafting bench. Most important currencies are chaos and divines. These are what you'll use to trade with other players. If playing trade, you'll get some chaos orbs while in acts. Save these, do not use them. Do not, if I see anybody going like this with their chaos orbs, here we go. If I see anybody going like this with your chaos orbs on gear, your sleep paralysis demon will haunt you tonight. He will come down and he will slap your dick off. I'm not kidding. Do not use chaos orbs like this. Do not on gear. Do not. Now, when it comes to mapping later on in the game, that's upsell. Also, that's really cool. Anyways, go away. Shoo. So if I see you doing this while you're playing the campaign, you are burning money. Early on, chaos orbs are very good. Do not do this. Early league, you may even break your build. So do not do this. Do not. Stop. I see you doing it right now. Stop it. Okay, I got it out of my system. How many chaos did I burn? It doesn't fucking matter, whatever. And we'll get there. So let's go over currencies you will mainly get during leveling. You have a scroll of wisdom, identifies items. I don't think I have any unidentified items. I do apologize, but it's simply you just take it and you just go boom and click identify. Yay, you got something. Portal scroll, very easy. You just click. Portal scroll doesn't work here. So here, let me do this. Let's go act 1. We'll go here. This is where you start. So there's so you got your portal scroll in your inventory. You can right click it, or another thing you can do with your portal scroll is if you have it keybound, you can keybind it if you're playing on PC. This guide's mainly going over PC, by the way. If you have a portal scroll and you have it keybound in your inventory, you can just pop a portal right next to you. Also, if you have a skill gem, do I have it equipped? I don't have it equipped. There's also the skill gem that I showed, which is portal. That also will be keybound on one of your builds. But a lot of early game builds are very, very socket dependent, so you may not have room for a portal skill gem early on. Plus, the only way to get a portal skill gem is from a drop in maps. So generally speaking, don't worry about a portal gem. Just you'll get plenty of portal scrolls. Don't worry. Portal scrolls drop like candy. Oh, let's go back to my hideout here. That's the portal scroll. So as you can tell, they drop like candy. I have tons of them. Next, you might get in the campaign is enkindling orbs. This is what I mentioned. Like, you see how this flask has like 35% increased effect. This is what it comes from these. So if you're like, well, I need a flask with, if maybe you get a mage blood. Maybe this guide helps you get a mage blood. That's my goal. My goal is to get you a mage blood. Actually, you know what? Let's switch to the mage blood. It's on this guy. I made a little clip with this guy at the beginning of the video. I expect this video to be long anyways. We're almost done actually. And I appreciate everyone that watches. So this guy has a mage blood. All of my flasks are permanent here, right? I zoom, I'm going really fast. I can't stop. I'm sprinting like I'm a Florida meth head from Path of Exile 2. So all these flasks are permanent. And if I take off the mage blood, this is going to break my build, by the way. So take off my mage blood, my build breaks because my mage blood is what gives me my strength. My flasks, they no longer work. See, they're all off. So I can drink them, right? And look, I got my flasks. Woo. Except the mage blood does not use a progenesis. This is a very expensive one. Don't look at this one. Look away. Close your eyes. Mage blood only uses magic utility flasks. I want to help you get this mage blood so you can do the goofy things, right? So you can run this fast. I'm tired of people being like, you get mage blood, I don't know how. I'm going to help you do that.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's go back over the currencies. That's what that currency is good for. This currency is good for giving your gear, giving your flasks the increased effect. These are good for giving your flask do I have one? I don't have one here. I'll just give you this one. And then I go here. Also, if you have I'll go over these as you need, if you need these, right? These right now, there is a sale going on. So if you're watching this right now and you do want to give grinding gear games money, buy the currency stash tab, the map stash tab, and maybe some premium stash tabs, and you will be fine. But I'll go over that later. I hope I'm going to get this video out this weekend. So if you're looking to buy stash tabs, those are the ones I'd recommend. A couple premiums, currency, and maps. It's all you really need to start. Eventually in the future, I'd probably recommend an essence one, because I'm going to teach you how to farm essences. That's how I make money sometimes. So installing orbs, they basically do this, right? They use when you use a guard skill, use when adjacent flask, use when you start bleeding. That's a way to stop yourself from bleeding. Same thing with Crown Frozen, because some of these will be like, oh, when you drink a flask, you have reduced curse effect, or when you drink a flask, you have less chances to, and there's charges when full. So you can do that, or you can go over here to your crafting bench like I showed earlier, and you can just put the one you want. So when you have like 5 glass blower baubles and 5 installing orbs, you can just put charges when reach full, and you're good to go. Your flask is automated, and you don't have to worry about it ever again. So another thing is flasks use this quality currency here. You just go boop, and you quality your flask. So that's it. The glass blower baubles will quality your flask. Blacksmithing whetstones quality your weapon. So for example, also depending on the color of your base type, depending on the color of your base type, if it's white, it'll be 2. Actually, no, I think they changed that. It's now just, yeah, I think they changed it. It's now based on level. So I think even if I take this Alcorp here, which makes a thing unique, and then I take my blacksmith stone, does this do 1? Okay, they did change it. Okay, so if it's a white base, it's random. Sometimes 2, sometimes not. So is this one right? Okay, so it's sometimes 1 or 2. If you have a decent high level item, or I guess 65 isn't that high of a level, you could quality it in, you know, a minimum of 10, a maximum of 20. And that's basically what this does. This again qualities your weapons. These are important early on. Lower eye level weapons will take like 1 or 2 of these. So if you do want to can I have that? Thank you. If you do want to quality your weapon while you're leveling, you can, but you might be replacing it often, maybe not too often, but who knows. Okay, and then you have armor scraps. These quality armor. So for example, shields, helmets, chests, not those. Those don't have quality. Shields, chests, helmets, all of your base armor. So like boots and uniques. It works on uniques. Uniques take 20 of these. So if you're looking to quality a unique, remember that you need 20 of these. And same thing, you know, chests and all that kind of stuff. That's how you quality your gear. This is mainly for armor. So again, gloves, helmet, chest, and boots. That's how you quality that. And then when you have, and then this quality is your maps. This comes in the end game. So as you can see here, if I go to a map, let me see, let me go to a map here, arcade, and I take this and I go boom there. That still works for maps. Okay, so when you want to quality your maps, remember to leave them at white, so that way you can have 20%. And then when you're ready, hit them with an orb of alchemy, and it'll be yellow. But I'll talk more about maps in the future. So, and that's what that does. Okay, and then you have your orbs of transmutation. What they basically do is you do, hold on, I'll use a weapon base. What they do is boom. So now I have a blue item. I now have a magic item. Basically, orbs of transmutation turn it into magic. Orbs of alteration. Well, the altar said blue item. So if you're looking for specific stats, if you're really getting to the nitty gritty of crafting, you'll probably use a lot of orb of alterations. Or if you're chasing after certain jewels for a certain unique jewel, you will do that. So that's basically what those are for. Oh, Also, these are good for rolling your flasks. So if you're looking for good flasks that you want, a trick is to look for a good kind of either suffix or prefix. So let's see. Let me get a good suffix or prefix here. No. Nope. 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 No. Damn, I hate doing this. This is my least favorite thing to do. Nope. Here you go. So let's say like, 20%, and then you can hit it with a org of augmentation, which just adds a suffix or a prefix to the flask. So you hit this and not too bad. So there you go. That's basically what that just adds to that. These are shards. You'll get these pretty early on. Eventually these just become like those orbs of annulment. Well, they just do this. They just remove an affix. You use these for meta crafting in the future. Don't worry about them all that much. Orbs of chance. These do exactly what they say. They're either going to do orb of chance. They turn a normal item into a random rarity. If you come from Path of Exile 2, these are completely different. In Path of Exile 2, it's either unique or bust. These do this. It just turn it into a blue. It can also do rare or even unique. So, but I want you in the campaign to pick these up. I'm going to help you use these for something. Exile orbs. You probably won't see these while you're leveling. These are as same as they are in Path of Exile 2. If you're coming from Path of Exile 2, they just augment a rare item with a new random modifier, depending on what you have. So if you have a gear full of suffixes, you'll get prefixes, and it's random. Regal orbs, they change a magic item to a rare item. So this staff, boom. Now it's a rare item. Those do that. You won't really use these. Sometimes you might. Orbs of alchemy. These are great. You'll use a lot of these for mapping, even for maybe finding. If you find these early on, I use them to sometimes, turn a normal item into a rare item, maybe get something good. Chaos orbs. These are the cream of the crop for early league. Do not do as I said before and waste these on re-rolling your gear. I will send your sleep paralysis demon after you, and you will not like me after that. Those are the cream of the crop. So remember, you want to save these. I'm going to leave these in my inventory. These you save. These are what you use for trading. Let me see. So a way to trade, though, by the way, is using the currency exchange. And when you open it up, it's like, well, I want to trade. Let's say I want to trade. I want divines. I have chaos. That's what you would do. You would trade your chaos for your divines, and then boom, yay, you got a divine. Yippee. Okay, that's how that works. And you also need a certain number of gold for that. Okay, veiled orbs. These are end game. They do something that's pretty crazy. It removes a modifier and adds a random veiled modifier to a rare item. I'm gonna help you with these. Don't worry. They're probably going to get more expensive next league. Unless they've changed it, which we don't know yet. Because there was a tease the other day where Mark was like, they changed up how you get crafting recipes from Betrayal, which is where these come from. These come from Betrayal. We'll talk about Betrayal in the future. Divine Orbs. Again, if I see you using these, and you're not going for a piece of mirror gear, I am sending that sleep paralysis demon after you. These are the second cream of the crop. In late league, these are the cream of the crop. Early league, it's these. Late league, it's these. Okay? You got that? Do not use these to define your gear. This randomizes the value of random modifiers on an item. So, for example, it doesn't change the tier. It only changes it doesn't change the tier. It changes just the numeric values. So it would take that, let's say for example, it'll re-roll everything. So the physical damage might go from 165 to 155, stuff like that. It does not re-roll fractured gear. So if you have, like you see how it says increased attack speed, it's 26, that will always stay at 26. Do not use these to change your affixes numbers. I will come to your house and I will beat your sleep paralysis demon, and you do not want that. Okay, I'm done threatening you now. Okay, jeweler orbs of fusing. And chromatic orbs are used for reforging the number of sockets, for linking those sockets, and for re-rolling those colors. So let's say so this weapon here can have 4 sockets. Another thing is I'm not sure if this is true or not, but if you fully quality a weapon to 20, you will easily get the max number of sockets. Oh, this can only have 3. Okay, I lied. That's a weapon. I'm sorry. Let me get is everything 3? Everything 4? Crap. Well, here I am unprepared. Give me this. Okay, so I'm gonna show you all a secret. So you know how I talked about earlier, you're going to be able to like roll for like off colors. So like, let's say you need like 2 blues on this, you could just do this, and then you could go up to or down to you need 2 blue sockets. You now have 2 blue sockets. Congratulations, you figured out the secret. And I blew through all my things. But so if you ever needed off colors on like an off piece, like you need 2 blues on a armor evasion piece, you can just go here and do that. And then like, let's say you need like a 3rd one. What you're gonna do, what am I doing? You know what you're gonna do is you're gonna go down to here and you're gonna go, I'm gonna go, well, I need another one. So you go 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, until you get a blue, right? Until you get a blue. And this is much cheaper than sitting there constantly rolling chromatic orbs which color your gems. Okay, I'm not gonna do it till I get it. I don't want to. So, and then what chromatic orbs do is very simple. They reforge the colors of every socket. So if you have a armor evasion, it's mainly going to roll towards red and green. So if I hit it, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green, there's a blue, red, green. So as you can tell, it's mainly red and green. Same thing with like, you have mainly an evasion piece here. It's mainly going to roll green colors. So where's my chromatic? So again, see, green, mainly green, green. So these, yeah, so it cheats towards the color. So just see the colors as dex, strength, and intelligence. Strength being red, dex being blue, and intelligence being red. That's why in the guide they're color coded. So that way you know that they're by the colors. Okay. And then these are to link your gear. You can get up to a 6 link on chests, and that's what they do basically. And you can try to go for a 6 link by clicking this constantly, or you know, you can save up some money and just buy a 6 link off of trade. Obviously this isn't a 6 link chest like this one down here could be, but like I said, you know, you could just do this. There's ways to 6 link without it. Like you could go to Faustus here and buy an omen and get it, but that's for like late game when you're like, you know, I got so much money, doesn't matter. But if you don't have so much money, the best way to do it is that Harbinger orbs, they're used for map stuff. Orbs of Horizon also used for map stuff. We'll go more over these in the future. Orbs of Regret, they grant you a passive skill point. So I just, boom, there's my skill point. So I open up the tree. I have 27. I had 26 before. I added 1 more. So that's that. That's what those do. This help you re-roll. So does gold. Now, Orbs of Fun Making, they help with the passive Atlas tree. I'm not going to show you that because you're already in shock from the other one. Scouring orbs, these remove all modifiers from your gear. Boom, gone. No more. Dead. It's dead, Jim. So it removes all modifiers, so you can basically start over. Like you get like a dead stat or something you don't like, you can just delete it. Gone. Get rid of it. I don't want it anymore. I don't even want to see it, kind of thing. You can use these on really anything. Let's see. Sacred orbs, they randomize the numeric value of base defenses on armor. So basically, you see how this has armor on it. I can use the sacred orb to re-roll that value. So it has armor 413. It can have 359 or 413. It's already perfect. I am not going to use a sacred orb. I actually have never really used sacred orbs. Blessed orbs can change implicit on modifiers. So for example, this belt. Oh, I did forget to mention something. I'll mention that in just a second. Abyss. So you see how there's this implicit, it says implicit modifier attribute plus 35 to strength, 25 to 35. If I used a blessing orb, it would change that from 35 to something else. Basically, TLDR, if you need something to be improved on its implicits, that's fine. And then Vol orbs, they corrupt things. They are the gambling addict's second favorite thing, maybe third. First one's apothecary cards. We'll talk more about apothecary cards when it's kind of time to start making money, or when to spend that money. So if I can corrupt this, right, with a Vol orb, it did nothing. These are, I actually did something. It made a white socket, so I can put anything there. I can do red, green, blue, whatever. So yeah, there are other ways to generate white sockets besides Vol orbing, but yeah. So when you Vol orb something, it's random, and the corrupted items cannot be modified again. These are a good way for during leveling. These become useless very quickly. They're a good way to upgrade a normal item to a rare item with 4 sockets. You find these early in the campaign, use them. They're very good. That's about it. But once you get past the campaign, you start getting into maps and stuff, you won't need these anymore. So that's basic your currencies. The only thing I didn't cover was like fractured orbs or ancient orbs or Hennecor's Lock or Mirrors of Calandra or the shard currency or stack decks. These are things you'll find in certain ways. You might find them randomly, you might not. If you're looking for them, you'll find them. But you have Mirrors of Calandra and Hennecor's Locks. These are kind of expensive items. These are something a new player doesn't really need to know. So, but like here, for an example, currencies, Hennecor Lock, what it does is it basically allows an item to foresee the results of the next currency item used on it, modifying the item in any way it removes the ability to foresee. So basically, if you hold over like a chromatic orb, it'll say this is what the colors are going to be. Usually Hennecor's Locks and Mirrors of Calandra are for purely like endgame. You're using Mirrors of Calandra on perfect gear. It's made by Hennecor Locks. Hennecor Locks help people go, I need to exalt tier 1 attack speed. Hennecor Lock will help you with that, because you'll take your Hennecor Lock and you'll go, oh, okay, I'm looking for attack speed, and then you click on it and it'll go, it's going to give you fart, and you're like, oh, I don't need fart. So then you like would chromatic or something and then try again. A lot of people use a lot of these. These are very expensive and they're kind of rare. This is the rarest item in the game, I'm pretty sure, minus a ring that you get from doing a really hard thing. But this is the rarest item in the game. Everybody wants these. Everybody loves these. These are what you want to grind for. This is what you want to earn. There's other currencies, but again, all of these other currencies, except for I didn't go over like Mavens, chisels, and stuff like that. We'll go over other chisels in the game. All these other currencies here, like tainted and influencer currencies and stuff like that, eldritch currencies. We'll go over those later when it comes time for those. Again, I'm not trying to overwhelm you too much. Oh, ancient orbs. Some people use these as a way to roll for mage bloods, but don't do that. It's bait. 100%. Every time I've tried to roll ancient orbs for a mage blood, I've never gotten one. Most mage bloods I've bought. So I figured, well, if I know how to make money, I think I can teach people how to do it because I'm a dummy. All right. So I think that's just about everything. That's currencies. That's gear. That's items. That's all kind of stuff. That's going over the very basics of Path of Exile without having to start from the beach. That's the next thing we're going to do, right? So I think that it. Yes. Oh, no, we are not done. We have Path of Building to talk about here. Path of Building makes build makers, most build makers use this for helping out with making build guides for them, for you, for everybody. Makes it a little easier for you to level so you don't brick a build and have to start over, because that's usually what happens. If you brick a build, you basically have to start over. It's not easy to re-roll when you don't have any currency, although gold helps now. I recommend this for new players, but it's not required. Oh, I also forgot about loot filters. That's next. Right. Okay. So this is Path of Building. This is a clean Path of Building. There's nothing here. It's all nice and shiny. There's no taint of a build on here like the Slayer one, because that's the build I think I'm playing. It's done by Jungro. You can look them up if you want. However, I will recommend some builds here for you. So if you come over here, I don't know if I made it a slide, but it's fine. So if I come over here, I have some builds for you. Maxroll here, maxroll.gg, PoE. You got tons of builds. A lot of these builds are going to get updated for 3.26. So look at these and remember that some of these are going to change, some of them not. Some of them will probably just go away if say the build maker isn't making builds anymore, or it can't be updated because the skill is garbage. That's basically it. But Maxroll GG is really good. I'll give you a little thing here. So let's say you can rely on Zizarain. Zizarain is a really good build creator. Go to his YouTube. Let's see, YouTube right here, Zizarain.com. Just kidding. Zizarain on YouTube. He's got really good build guides. He makes a ton of them. He's got a bunch. I can scroll through here. I got to go about a year back at this point, unfortunately. But he's got tons of build guides. Even for he also runs a Runic Strife Gauntlet. If you ever get good at the game, do this. It's really fun. If he does another gauntlet, he might not do another gauntlet. Let me see here. Blah, 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 blah. Where's his builds? He usually does a ton of builds. Here's let's see. Yeah, here's a new build. Here's a new build. Here's a new build. Right. Righteous Fire Chieftain. Slams. Eviscerate, Retaliate. This is kind of a new thing. Counterattack build. Ice Mage Nova. Wave of Conviction. Ground Slam. He's got tons of builds. So look for Zizarain if you want to look for some easy builds. These builds are designed, I believe, for Soul Self-Found and Hardcore. So if you're like, oh, I only played normal Trade League, these builds will be really good for you because you may not die. All right. So yeah, so I believe Zizarain will probably maybe update this. But if you don't want to use Path of Building, Maxroll is your second best bet, because when you click this leveling tab here, they give you the leveling tree. They put your ascendancy right here. And as you level up, you can click this little, I hit level 2, level 3, level 4. Oh, look at that, level 4. I got some new gems. Level 5, level 6, level 7, level 8. Oh, look, another gem. And it adds more little points to the tree. You can follow this. You keep going and going and going and going and going. Right? And it's like, oh, look, I'm level 13. Now I go this way. Whee! I go over here. I grab Precise Technique. And, oh, I'm still leveling. Look at me go. Yay. So, yeah. This just uses the tree without having Path of Building. So if you don't want to use Path of Building, Maxroll is a good way to go. And they even have a progression tab. This will help you out with progressing. It's a step-by-step. Step 1, you know, early game, you want those resistances. You want to get that weapon right. You want to get flasks. You want to get a quiver. You want to get links, rare gear, all that kind of stuff. Maxroll really does also hold your hand. They do a very good job. I recommend Maxroll for beginners. Okay. PoE Vault. There's another collection of build creators. You got duelist builds, you got shadow builds, marauder builds, witch builds, ranger builds, templar builds, and scion builds. You can pick. You just click on it and you go, oh look at all these builds I can pick. Don't worry about this one. you got builds for days here too. Tons of build guides. This could all change though. Like 3.26 could change everything. So if you're looking to play minion builds though, by the way, I mentioned this earlier. Gazzy, he's the minion guy. You play any of his minion builds, you actually might do pretty good. So minion guys. However, these guys don't really have an in-game. They don't have like a skill tree yet. They might at some point, but they don't really have a skill tree. You have to rely on their Path of Building. So you know, do that kind of stuff, right? And then you know that kind of thing. So Pox is the Righteous Fire guy. He is the guy that if you're gonna play Righteous Fire and you better want to practice it now, you can rely on him updating it for 3.26. He is him. He's the guy. He's the only guy that will... He has a website dedicated to Righteous Fire. It's crazy. This is a guy who has a dedication to Righteous Fire. Be sure to go subscribe to him on Twitch. Follow him on YouTube. Follow him on Twitch. Whatever. True. So, if you won't follow him. He'll help you out. And all these content creators I mentioned, Gazzy, Zizarain, they'll help you out as best as they can. So you have RF Chieftain. Again, let's say you want to add a build to Path of Building. You got it all installed, all ready to go. Click copy, or if you're on Pox's website, you can click here, copy the link. Right, you can go down here or to Path of Building. Go to import/exports. You can right click in here and then you click import and boom, you now have a build guide ready to go. This guide will guide you to a righteous fire chieftain. I recommend this one for new players because of chieftain, right? Because of this guy over here, right? This big mamma jamma right here. Why? Because of these two nodes. These two nodes are absolutely the most insane things I've ever seen. You get one that modifiers to your fire res also apply to your cold and lightning at 50%. And then this one, your maximum fire res also applies to maximum cold. And you get a lot of maximum fire res in this tree, on this side of the tree. So this guy's really good. You can follow, he's got notes that explains, you know, what bandits do you do and stuff like that. So when you're following along with my axe, remember to follow what your guide says. If your guide says kill all bandits and you're a little nervous about your resistances, you can just get the all resistance lady and or all elemental resist lady, and then then you can come back and eventually respec and kill her and get your additional skill point. So again, he's got armor and items and skills and trees. He rolls all this out for you. So if this is something you want, also your four most important tabs for building is here, here, and here. So remember, when you get a new build, I would look at the tree, look at the skills, look at the items. It will generally point you in the direction of what you want to get. You'll mainly find this stuff while you're leveling, and say like 860 to 81. This might be stuff you in this best way, what you might do is get something off of trade that's very similar to this and then crafting on it. Same thing with like this one. So yeah, so I'm gonna help you guys get some early currency. There's a cool way to do it. I found out while I was learning to do early sanctum. So that's that. So if you wanna, I'd recommend this. Another thing you can do is to make sure you keep everything up all together. There's this loadout thing up here. If you click this, it changes everything. So let's say you hit 21, you're like, I'm 21. I want to update my tree. I want to update my skills, and I want to update my items. So you don't have to sit there and do it individually. Like, oh, level 21. Okay. You can just do it up here and boom. This, as long as the content creator uses this loadout system. If they don't, then you have to do everything individually. If they have, some of them won't actually have items 1 through 20, or even like, they might have up to like early end game maps, and it'd be like, this is when I get the gear and stuff like that. So yeah, so be careful. Just pick a good build guide. Righteous Fire Chieftain. Again, all the links you'll see will be down below, so be sure to go check them out. The build, here's what Path of Building looks like on its little web page here. You can use this too if you want, but it's better to use the Path of Building program instead of that. So that, and then the build that I will be using is done by Jungro. It's Poisonous Concoction Slayer, and this is the build I'll be using as to simulate a league start and to use as a league start. He makes pretty good build guides too. You can check him out if you want. And now let's go over the next thing, the Filter Blade. This is probably required. You're going to need the crap out of this. This is going to be your best friend. This is going to help you when you're leveling to see less garbage, right? So let's see, there's like a way to, I can't remember how I found it. It doesn't matter, whatever. There's like a way to like show filters and stuff, like how they all work. Simulate, here you go. So this is what like, so for example, semi-strict, this is what a semi-strict looks like. It looks something like this. So you generate loot, this is what you would see. Like you'd be like, oh look, and it hides all like the garbage here. So like you wouldn't see all this garbage. Like you'd see this, you'd see this, you'd see this. This is like default semi-strict. You pick all this up, right? And then like as you're getting higher into the end game, you can kind of increase this. So this is basically what I do with my filters. I increase it very slowly, and then like, right, you can simulate, and it's like all this crap is hidden, so you won't see all this crap anymore, because this is all garbage too. You don't need to see this anymore, right? Like even like this, like you won't see all this thing because you don't need this anymore. You'll see the gold obviously, but like, you know, you don't need any of this. It's all crap. You have money. You're rich boy now. You're not broke boy. But when you're broke boy, semi-strict is the way to go. So how do I add filters to my game? So one way to do it is when you go to export, you have two ways. You can save and sync, which is what I do. I have my PoE account linked to the Filterblade website, filterblade.xyz. I hit save and sync and it puts it directly into my account. Or if you're someone who is like, well, I don't want to do that, I just want to download it and have it, you save and download, and then you would copy from your from where it downloads to I'll tell you right here. You go to your user profile, your documents, my games, Path of Exile, you slap it right in there, and it's GG. You're good to go. That's it. And then your loot filter should work. And basically what the loot filter will look like when you know it works is you go to options, you go to game. This is your loot filter. You can say, well, I don't have any. I have settlers. And you know, that's it. Say, oh, look, item filter successfully loaded, settlers, blah, 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 updated May 29th. I updated it quite recently. You want to update your loot filter in League Start pretty much every day. And then once it gets later and later, you won't have to, because obviously the market's very volatile early on, but things change. And then you can have none, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, these are all the loot filters, and this is like Pox's loot filter. You can follow content creators' loot filters too. I would recommend, if you're gonna play Righteous Fire, follow Pox's loot filter. It'll help out. I don't quite know how to do that. I think if you go, is it on his website? Yeah, loot filter. You can click here, and it'll probably take you to Path of Exile's website, and you can see Pox's loot filter. This will be updated for probably 3.26. You can just click follow, and boom, you can then use it. Yay, right? You have Pox's loot filter. I'd recommend that. If you're going to follow Pox's build, use his loot filter. It'll point out really good stuff for Righteous Fire. If you're going to play something else, just use the generic filter blade, like semi-strict, and then just increase the strictness as you go. I mean, you can customize the crap out of this thing if you want, but that's for you to decide whether or not. I do have a little bit of customizations on it, but it's to show things like, because this league, Scrolls of Wisdom were still really good because of Settlers is like unique disenchant guy. I still use Scrolls of, normally you hide Scrolls of Wisdom, you don't need the garbage anymore. And then I kept Portal Scrolls visible too, and that was about it. And certain essences I think I kept visible because I was farming essences, but I wanted to see less loot, just essences. And that's about it. So that's your loot filter. Be sure to get it before you start. It's one of the first things you want to do, especially before League Start. It helps you go faster. That's the most important thing. Okay, so I think that is everything. Loot filter, path of building. Yeah, very long video. All right, so that's path of building. Good builds, actual PoE Vault, Fox Righteous Fire, YouTube, Cicerone, and other people too, right? Find who you want to find though. Again, I'm going to suggest you find your own build, but I'm going to point you in the direction of good build makers or good build people who show good builds, people who I trust. There are plenty of bait builds. If you get baited by a build, never use that build again, or that build maker again. Loot filter, great way to get rid of the crap. As I said before, filter blade by Neversink. You'll want that. That's what we were looking at. Easiest way, set up the loot filter. You just set it to semi-straight. Always add the filter. Can link your PoE account and sync it, or just download it out of the game. That's simple. Okay, now we can play the game. Jesus Christ, we're done talking. I'll be doing an Act 1 through 10 playthrough. I think I'm going to do it in the form of Act 1, video, Act 2, video, Act 3, video, Act 4, video, Act 5, video, everything. Anything I missed in this guide, we will go over during Acts. Like the crafting bench, bonus skill, passive points, because mainly crafting bench, new players won't have access to a hideout till after Act 2. So once I get a new hideout on a new account, I'll talk about crafting bench and more. This will be done before 3.26 is out. Once 3.26 is out, I'll show you how to do maps, get the 4 void stones, and then make Defiance of Chaos so you can finally play the silly builds like Flicker Strike. That is my goal. My goal is to let you, hopefully I can get you here. Now, this could change, but I don't think it will. I don't think 3.26 is going to be crazy and game changing. It could be. They could be like, yeah, we said screw void stones and we changed it to where now you only get T16 maps when you're farming T16. That should be pretty big. But I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to go that crazy because the Eldritch horrors are still there. I still think we're going to get the 4 void stones and make it the same way we do. So that's about it. Hideouts on a new account. Yeah. Bonus passive skill points come from quests. Ascendancy. I'm going to talk all about that. How to get your ascendancy while we're playing through the axe, because I think that'll be easier to do that than have a PowerPoint slide of this is the ascendancy. This is how you do it. We'll get there. So, welcome to Act 1. I will see you guys in the next video. If you like this video, be sure to like the video. Be sure to follow the channel. Subscribe to the channel. You can follow me on Twitch. I stream on both YouTube and Twitch daily. Play Street Fighter 6. Playing Path of Exile. I will not be streaming the leveling guide, for I'm just going to record it. And it's going to be unedited anyways. And then, yeah. So if you do catch me streaming, I'm playing Street Fighter 6 right now until basically the league start for 3.26 is out, and then that's it. So that's everything I have to say. If you guys have any questions, leave in the comments down below. If I missed anything, I'll get it. Don't worry. I didn't miss it on purpose or on accident. Unless I did miss something. I didn't talk about really much endgame stuff. I did mention Veil Orbs and some endgame currency, but you're not there yet. It's kind of skipped on essences, harvest stuff. I'm trying to help new players first. Let's not talk about the end game because they can get overwhelmed when you're like, and then the maps, and then you gotta do the thing, the 4 void stones, stuff like that. Kind of give you a broad idea what this guide's gonna be. So I will see you guys in Act 1. So welcome to Path of Exile. Good luck, dummy.